Dispenser going up. Well.
So, the Jag. It's really good now. Before the gunmetal update, the Jag did almost nothing. You might as well just use the stock wrench for all the difference it made in your build time, but it is so much better now. I know that in the last video about the Jag, I said that they should at least fix it to where the 30% increase in build speed was accurate, but they went and outdid themselves. I'd even say that the Jag, right now, might be the best wrench to use. You can hear what I'm saying anymore? Can we turn the music down? It's getting kind of loud. The music's kind of loud. Hello? Hello? Music off for a second. I want to talk about the Jag. Yes, the Jag is the best wrench to use right now for the most amount of situations you'll find yourself in during a typical round of playing Engineer. But don't read too far into that statement. Don't close the video here and delete all your other wrenches from your inventory just yet, because the Jag does have its downsides, and it certainly is not overpowered. But before we get into that, let's start off by going over what the Jag used to do, or didn't used to do, and compare it to the changes that were made after the gunmetal update. By the way, I have a video about how the Jag used to work called The Jag versus the World if you'd like to see a full rundown, but basically, to sum it all up, I use Raise HUD! The Jag used to have two very simple stats: increased build speed while wrench construction boosting, and 25% less damage. However, due to the way super complicated math works, the upside wasn't really an upside at all. 0.75 seconds faster was not a significant enough difference to warrant using it over the stock. And even the 25% damage penalty made less of a difference than intended because of the way critical hit chance scaling works, and the fact that most of the time you're going to hit someone with the Jag, you're probably not going to do only 48 damage per swing, given that random crits are enabled. So the conclusion was this: the Jag stats were broken, and it was considered to be a side grade that did almost nothing. Yet for some reason it was still the most used wrench by 30% of you guys, even beating out the Southern Hospitality, which I thought was way more popular than that. But now, fast forward to gunmetal, when the good old boys at Valve decided that enough was enough. The Jag needed a clear-cut use, so they did what I'd been saying for almost a year now. They introduced a way to promote diversity among offensive engineering. The new stats for the Jag are as follows. While using the Jag, construction hit boosting speed is increased by 30%, as well as boasting a 15% increased swing speed. So now there actually is a larger difference in build time: 1.75 seconds faster for a sentry gun and 3.5 seconds faster for a dispenser and teleporter, as opposed to the previous 0.75 seconds faster for a sentry gun and 1.5 seconds faster for dispensers and teleporters. Now you might think that's not a very huge difference, and you'd sort of be right. Generally, when you're building something from scratch, you'll want to be out of the enemy's line of fire anyway, so you might think getting a building active around 2 or 3 seconds faster is not exactly a huge upgrade in the long run. But what makes the Jag amazing is the swing speed increase, and I'll tell you why. Think about everything you do with the wrench. 1. You swing it. 2. That's it. That's all you do with the wrench. So what things happen when you swing a wrench? Well, 1. You increase the build speed of constructing buildings. 2. You upgrade buildings to higher levels. 3. You remove sappers. 4. You smack people in the head. And 5. You heal your buildings. So that's 5 very important things that the engineer does. Besides the ability to actually create these buildings, using the wrench to do all of these things is pretty much the main ability of the engineer. So when a wrench gives you the ability to do all of these things faster, in this case 15% faster, that's an amazing upgrade. Comparing the build time from placement to level 3 between the Jag and the stock shows us that it's about 2.75 seconds faster to use the Jag. And removing sappers is a little bit faster as well, but when it comes to hitting other players with it and repairing your buildings, these abilities are slightly nerfed by its downsides. So the Jag has 2 simple downsides. It still has its 25% damage penalty, but a recently added downside is that it can only heal 80 damage per hit instead of the 100 damage healed by the other wrenches. But there's a twist. Because the swing speed is faster than the other wrenches, the only thing that is affected is what we'll call burst healing. So if your sentry was to take 100 damage, you'd need to hit it twice instead of once to heal it back to full health. But once again, because the swing speed is faster, the overall healing per second is affected. This means that the more you're healing your building per second, the less of an effect the healing penalty will make. So getting into some more super complicated math here, the stock wrench swings every 0.8 seconds and heals 100 damage on each hit. This means that the stock wrench has a healing per second, or HPS rate, of 125. So over the course of 8 seconds, the stock wrench can heal 1000 damage. The Jag, on the other hand, swings every 0.68 seconds and heals 80 damage with each hit. This means that the stock wrench has a healing per second rate of 117.6. So over the course of 8 seconds, the Jag can heal 940.8 damage. This is a difference of only 7.4 healing per second, or 59.2 health per 8 seconds. About 60 health over the course of 8 seconds isn't much really, that's less than one well-aimed rocket. So basically the swing speed actually lessens the listed health penalty by a little bit. This means that yes, the Jag's listed stats are technically incorrect again, but this time it's positive. And the same can be said about the damage penalty. Over a longer period of time, the damage reduction starts to be less of a problem the more you're actually hitting someone when compared to other wrenches. Well, we won't waste time going into the numbers on damage per second because frankly, you shouldn't really be constantly hitting enemy players with your melee weapon as engineer anyway. I will remind everyone though that the Jag still does less damage, which means it still does take 3 hits to kill a full health spy, which in servers that have random crits disabled can come back to bite you. So what is the Jag good for? Well, if you were paying attention up until this point, you might agree with me if I were to say most things. Because of the swing speed increase, it does almost everything an engineer does with a wrench slightly better, specifically building, upgrading, and removing sappers. Even the downsides aren't as bad as they seem because of the swing speed, and even then, the Jag can be paired with other weapons to help make up for the Jag's weaknesses. The Rescue Ranger is a great combo with the Jag because of the extra healing power it provides. Low on metal and your gun is taking damage? Fire bolts at it instead. The Rescue Ranger actually has a firing speed of 0.625 seconds, which is slightly faster than the swing speed of the Jag, and because it heals 75 damage per hit, the healing per second is 120, which is actually slightly better than the HPS of the Jag itself. The Jag also provides a pretty decent replacement for the Gunslinger when you want to play aggressively. Because of how quickly you can build an active level 1 or level 2 sentry, you can effectively play as a completely different type of battle engie. By running offensive Jag, you're basically turning down the extra 25 base health provided by the Gunslinger in exchange for more sentry gun health and the option to actually upgrade your gun. Believe it or not, while using the Jag, sentries now redeploy only a split second slower than a mini sentry does while being boosted with a wrench. However, there is no difference between the Jag and the stock wrench when boosting a redeployed sentry. The Jag also can destroy sappers faster, which is actually really good because of the timing that comes with getting a sapper removed. The stock wrench removes a sapper in 1.6 seconds, and the Jag removes the sapper in 1.36 seconds, which doesn't really look like much on paper, but in the heat of battle when dealing with a spy, getting the sapper removed even slightly faster can be the difference between a saved gun and a destroyed gun. The Jag can also be used to do very specific things, such as using it to upgrade things during setup time, which can be useful since you now have the option to switch to a different wrench at any time without destroying your current buildings. You can learn more about this tactic in my Jag effect rollout video. So to sum everything up that the Jag is good at, it's good at building things quickly, it's good at upgrading things quickly, and it's good at removing sappers quickly, which are all very valuable to the typical engineer. The downsides do hurt a little bit, but they can be lessened by pairing the Jag with other weapons, and technically the downsides listed are not as bad as they say they are because of the increased swing speed. So what is the Jag not good at? Well, the obvious answer would be 2 main things. Overall longevity of your buildings when they're under fire, and the ability to do damage without a sentry, especially if you're using the Rescue Ranger. So to simplify it all into certain common situations, the Jag is great for setting things up quickly, like when you're upgrading everything to level 3 in setup time, or getting a defense lined up for when your team is being pushed back to the last point. It's also great for building aggressive leveled sentries that you more or less treat like mini sentries that you can level up over time, which is not only quite powerful when done right, it's an addictive and really fun way to play engineer. For a battle engie using the Jag, I'd suggest pairing the Jag with the Frontier Justice and not worrying too much about keeping the gun alive for more than a few sentry kills, since you'll be rewarded for the gun going down anyway. You could even use the Rescue Ranger with the Jag on offense to open up a ton of new plays with the teleporting mechanic, allowing you to keep the gun alive longer and sneak your gun into cheeky spots. You could also improve your personal defense by using the pistol as sort of a faux primary. Besides, the Wrangler's health reduction actually stacks with the Jag's health reduction, so it's not a recommended combo for aggressive battle engineers. The only thing the Jag is bad at is keeping your nest alive and keeping yourself alive when it comes down to melee fights, so if you're the type of person who values the longevity of a nest over the speed in which you can get one up, you actually might be better off using the stock or any of the other side grades. But overall, the Jag is one of the best wrenches to use, and it's because the thing is so dang useful for all different types of creative engineering. It has its downsides, but they're certainly worth the trade-off in my opinion. A few people are even saying that it's overpowered, but I disagree, and here's why. While the Jag allows buildings to go up faster, it doesn't actually break the game for engineer in any way, simply because while sentry guns are very powerful, they are still very counterable. Soldiers, demomen, spies, and medic Ubercharges still remain a sentry gun's biggest counters, and the Jag actually does nothing to prevent those classes from taking them down in mere seconds. If anything, because it's harder for an engie to tank damage while using the Jag, attacking the gun consistently is the Jag engineer's worst nightmare. In other words, the sentry gun as a concept is still the same when you use any of the wrenches, including the Jag, and the only thing the Jag does is give the NG an option to be faster, and honestly, the NG has always needed to be faster. I mean, why do you think people said NG's a boring class? Because really, you have the Scout and the Demoman as options in this game. Why would you want to play as a turtle with more than one responsibility? All sarcasm aside, I'm glad that they buffed the Jag as much as they did, and I still think the general changes to the Engineer was one of the best things they could have done for the class, and the way TF2 plays in general. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the unofficial sequel to my now irrelevant overview of the Jag. It's a bummer because I love my Australian wrench, but every time I use it nowadays, I feel like I'm swinging it so slowly compared to the Jag. Please make an Australian Jag, Valve, please. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the Jag in the comments section below. I'm Uncle Dane the Engie Main, and I will talk to you nieces and nephews next time. Bye-bye.